Had a chat with Mike Egan, the national president of the Restaurant Association. The fallout of if we see less cruise ships coming to New Zealand. There was a Industry Commission report released on Friday aimed at providing that this is the first comprehensive picture of our cruise economy for New Zealand. And while it said awesome last season, 1.3 billion was injected into the economy, there are concerns that rising costs will see cruise liners looking elsewhere. And Mike was saying, well, yes, the problem with that, of course, is if we don't see as many ships inshore, no people, less people, and they're not going to, go out and go to restaurants or go shopping, go and do further tourism things. And even if they don't go and do all that, they might earmark and go, right, I'm going to come back here next time when I've got more time. So as I said, are we missing the boat? The beauty of cruising, getting on that big ship. Well, one lady that knows a lot about it, she's a friend of the show, is our travel blogger extraordinaire, blogger at large, Megan Singleton. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Leah.
Boats. I know you've been on a lot of them. Would it be?
A lot of them.
I mean, I know you don't. I don't want to get you into this. The fact that we might see less cruise liners coming to New Zealand because you haven't really studied all that. But what have you? When they do come to New Zealand, have you been on any of these? Have you caught any of these big ones from here?
Yes. I've been lucky enough to be hosted on a few of the big ones, say for just a couple of sectors, maybe like 3 or 4 nights, Wellington to Auckland or Dunedin to Auckland. I've done a couple of that. What have I done? Maybe Christchurch to Hobart, something like that. So sectors of them. And did I hear you say that you'd just done a cruise to nowhere and you quite liked it?
Cruise to nowhere. Yeah, I did it.
That would be my worst nightmare.
Do you know, I did it last year. I did that 80s cruise. It leaves Auckland and then comes back to Auckland.
But you didn't stop anywhere and have some respite from the waves.
No, we just stayed on the boat. And look, Megan, I got to be honest, it was organised by some friends who went, come on, let's do it. And I thought 80s music, love the 80s, best decade ever. To be honest, I didn't cartwheel off it going, boom, I'm going to do that again.
No.
But I would like, but hubby liked it and said he would like to go now expand to, going to the islands or one where you can get off the bloody thing, right?
Yes. Well, I would say that your foray, your first dip in the water, shall we say, was probably the worst example that you could have of trying a cruise, honestly. Because for me, the ship, it's not about the rocking and rolling over the high seas, and I just hope that you had some nice clear water out in that Pacific Ocean, because my first ever cruise was from Auckland up to Fiji, and that was big and lumpy, and I didn't like it at all. So there's cruises and there's cruises. So most people who think they'll hate a cruise have probably done what you did. And they just thought, oh my gosh, it's all about thousands of people in the bars and the lining up for the buffet and and Leah. No, okay, girl. Well, you started at the low end. It can only go
only
up
get
from
better.
There.
Exactly.
Only gets better. Gets better. So look, it would be really. Okay, that's from our selfish consumer point of view. We have a great old holiday, but this whole story that you're talking about today is the economic impact. The huge amount of income that cruising brings into New Zealand alone. I've got a report in front of me here that just says $1.3 billion was injected into our economy last season from cruising.
Incredible.
Across all the sectors, from hospitality to retailers to, taxi drivers and activity operators that get you out across on their winery tours or their kayaking tours, and all of these people. That it's really, really important. And so I hope that they can maybe rein some of those costs in. I don't know where they're coming from specifically.
Yeah, I don't either. It seems to be regulations or something, or a new high cost and regulations that have come in. But if they're trying to suck up,
government was all about cutting those things and making our economy grow. Come on,
exactly. Come on.
Yeah.
So Megan, what are the best? Okay, so I probably started my very first cruise the wrong way.
Yeah.
Where do you?
Girl.
What's the best way to start then? What if you're a bit kind of not quite sure?
All right. If you have one cruise in you, I would say make it a river cruise in Europe or Scandinavia.
Oh.
Okay, so first.
Geez, you've gone high. Geez, we're going to Europe. What?
Yeah, we're off. Because a river, you barely feel the boat move. You are gliding along. So a lot of people's fear about going on their first cruise is they'll get seasick. So a river cruise, that's just completely taken out of the equation. And they're actually fascinating because you'll go through several locks and, obviously takes days and hours. And you'll go through the locks mostly at night time. But, to wake up or to actually just be sleeping with the curtains open as you're going past villages and under bridges and through locks. And it's wonderful. And what I love about the cruising is that you unpacked, all your suitcase has been put away, unpacked into all the drawers, you've set your room up just so, and you're not going to pack up again until your holiday's over.
Yeah.
So there's none of this kind of, travelling through Europe hotel after hotel or bus tours or rail tours where your luggage is on the go and you're calling for packing cells and you're, and you're trying to work out I better not have more than 20 kilos so I can't lift that. And so that's another great thing. You unpack only once. It's barely moving. And then on river cruises, you're right there in the towns and villages. I mean, some of the ports, depending on which river you've chosen, you might need to take an excursion on a bus to get to the nearby city or whatever. But you can pot around on your own. You can take a walking tour. You can take a little bus tour to a wine region or all sorts of things. Visit castles. I mean, it's all about that.
Yeah.
So that's the first. If money's no object, that's your go.
Yes. If money is a bit of an object, Megan.
You do what you did. You do an 80s cruise to nowhere and you're dressed in your shoulder pads and you have the time of your life. That's probably about the cheapest you could do.
It was actually the cheap. It was quite cheap, I must admit. It was very budgety.
It was there a lot of Aussies on board?
No, yes, actually, yeah. The band was from Australia. There was a lot of Australians there.
They love all that. They love.
They do. They do love that.
Yeah, there's a stereotype. I've got her in my head that the Aussie lady on that cruise and her big beer swilling husband. Yeah,
yes.
No, they would have loved it.
Oh, you saw them then? Yeah. And she's got big long fake nails, big hair, and she just loved it, Megan. She's having a great time. She loved it.
She had her highlights done specially. Yeah. Awesome.
You're terrible.
So there's so many to choose from. I mean, what about ocean cruises to Alaska or, where you can see from your cabin the whales and the glaciers and all the sea life.
Amazing.
But I mean, it really is amazing. Yeah.